Hello, welcome everybody. We are back here. We have a very special guest here with Nick Uhas, myself, every single week. But this week we got a very special guest. Clay Honeycutt is here.
Mr. Dreamboat himself.
Yes, and I was going to say this, Clay, normally when we do this show, Nick and I just kind of roll in here with a T-shirt and kind of do our hair. But now we've got a team of hair and makeup people
Yes,
that have been working on us for the last, 10, 11 hours? Just to make sure that we
days,
we can try to at least hold a candle to you, Clay, here on the show.
Oh, jeez. Well, it definitely shows. I did a great job, so.
Well, thank you. Well, our whole team is fantastic. We'll pass along
Thank
along the good words.
Appreciate it.
Clay, thanks for being here on the show. About a week since you were the sixth house guest evicted. What have you been up to since you left the Big Brother house?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And the first couple of days that I came back to Texas, I've just been hanging out with my family, enjoying the downtime, kind of unwinding and getting my mind, ready for school. I just came back up to College Station and just enrolled into grad school. So I'll be finishing up my master's probably this whole next year. And after that, no plans really. So we'll see where it goes.
Where was the first restaurant that you went to afterwards? Like,
It wasn't Outback, I'm sure. I'm sure it wasn't Outback. You're probably sick of Outback.
That was really good, but the first restaurant I went to was Whataburger.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's that's a South thing for sure.
That's got to be strange, Clay, I'd imagine, to be in the house and then to immediately go back to your just real everyday life. What has that transition been like?
It was kind of tough. The first couple of days, like I said, were pretty tough because you do go from being in the house and having this routine that you do, or not even a routine, but the things you do in that house, once you get out, it's completely different. It's two different worlds, being in the house and being outside the house. The first 2 days were a little rough. There was a big adjustment period, but again, I couldn't be happier spending it with my family, and they really helped me get back on track and get my mind on everything.
Yeah, I can relate to that. When you first come out, it sounds so bizarre, but the analogy I gave, I've never been in prison, okay, just throwing that out there. But I assumed as such, that's what it would be like. You're on this regiment, you're on this thing, and then you come out and you're like, I can do anything? Anything that I so choose right now? Wow, it's a whole new.
It took me about a week to get back to my sleeping schedule. In the house, It's almost like you sleep in intervals. You'll sleep a couple hours, you'll wake up, go back to sleep, wake up, because that's really all you can do, especially when you're locked in the house. And it took me about a week to really get adjusted back to my sleeping pattern.
And probably strange to not have to go and report on your life in some sort of diary room every couple hours. You're like, I'm just going to go in the other room and just tell people what I've been up to. Wait a second. I don't have to do that anymore. Just live my life.
Definitely. I would still get out of the shower, take my towel, uncover or put my underwear on under the towel. I'm like, oh, wait, I don't have to do that anymore. I can just take that was definitely how to get that, or get used to that again.
There's not a nation watching you.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
What was the moment like when you saw your parents? Because I would imagine they were rushing to tell you all about the game. You kind of probably wanted to talk to them about the game. Did it start out being about the game, or was it just kind of like old times and seeing your parents and your family?
Oh, my mom and my sister picked me up from the airport, and it was straight about game. It was straight. You couldn't trust them. They didn't trust you. They did this. They did that. They were asking me all these questions. They were just so excited for me to be back because I can imagine how stressful it was for them to watch me on that show and them not be able to do anything about it. So they were excited for me to be back, and they had so much to tell me. I didn't have to watching the shows. I pretty much got caught up just from talking to them.
Yeah. I read my Twitter feed for a while, and I was like, wow, there's the whole game that I missed.
Yes.
It's all right there. All right, so this is kind of a heavier question, all right? You asked to be evicted to save Shelly. Now that you've been out of the house for a week and looking back and maybe you have a little bit of perspective looking back on that, do you have any regrets on making that decision?
No regrets. Again, you always wonder what if could have happened. And again, I don't regret my decision because that's what I wanted at the time. And it was tough. I was going back and forth, whether to do what I did or to not. And I couldn't campaign against the girl, and you grow a connection with somebody in that house so easily because you spend 24/7 with them, and she really wanted this, and she really wanted to be there. It was her dream. Not that it wasn't something that I wanted to do, but I just couldn't take that away from her. And You know, I wanted her to fulfill her dream versus me stay, because at the end of the day, one of us had to leave. We both weren't going to stay. So again, I'm okay with my decision. You know, when I lay down at night, I sleep just fine. And it's good to be back with my family, and I don't regret it.
Yeah, it was a classy move, definitely. Any part of you, since she left the week after you, that was like, oh, I would have been there at least for another couple of weeks? Did that change your feeling? Because I'm sure you made that decision thinking she could win this game. Yeah. And when she goes out a week after you, did that change anything for you?
Maybe a little bit, just because, again, you don't know what would have happened if I would have stayed, and there's always that what if, and you can't go about this whole situation playing the what if card. So again, there's hopefully there's a buyback. Hopefully she'll win that and she'll get back in the game and win it all. But again, I'm sticking with my decision. I'm fine with it, and you know, that's all you can do right now.
I totally understand, because, like, you know, I went out week 2, and so, like, ever since then, I was like, man, maybe I should have created that alliance. Maybe I shouldn't have ate that peanut butter and jelly sandwich right next to fill in the blank here. Like, yeah, you go back and you start replaying everything. That's like the haunt of Big Brother, is that you replay everything, and then you start thinking the what ifs, and that took me a long time just to, like, let that go out of my brain. Because you're on that schedule and you're so, like, into it. Totally understand.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Shelly then, Clay. I mean, you know, you kind of mentioned, and like I've heard Nick talk about this too, about how every minute feels like an hour, every day feels like a month in there. You guys definitely got very close. Again, having a week to reflect on that relationship and be back in the real world. Have your feelings changed at all for Shelly? Have they improved? Have they stayed the same? Have they decreased? How are you feeling about Shelly now, a week into the real world?
Definitely haven't changed. They're still there. You know, we're just kind of waiting to see each other outside of the house, because, again, in the house and outside the house are two completely different worlds. Obviously, we connected really strongly inside the house, so we're just kind of waiting to see if we can still have that connection outside the house. And I did promise her I'll take her on a date, so we'll do that, and then we'll go one day at a time. You know, that's all you can really hope for.
Have you planned this date?
Yeah, I was so curious about this. Like, when I saw that in Julie, I was like, dude, this guy, like, knows what he's doing. He must have planned this out already. Like, what is it? Do you know?
I do not know yet. There's a lot of different options that I'm kind of running through my mind. And, again, I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do, if it's going to be.
Not Outback Steakhouse, though, right?
Definitely not Outback Steakhouse. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm still kind of – it's in the works. I'm still planning something special. So we'll have to see.
Very cool, man. Awesome. So you're clearly a good-looking guy. You know, I think the world can agree on that. I wouldn't say that, you know, finding any female in the world would be exactly difficult for you. So what was it about Shelly that really drew you in, like, specifically Shelly?
We just connected so fast on a personal level, and she's so easy to relate to. And she's so genuine, and our talks would just flow effortlessly. And, you know, I told her that she was kind of like my vacation away from the game, because every time we would talk about, you know, our personal life or anything besides the game, you would just forget about the game. And it was nice to have that. And especially being trapped in that house, it's good to have somebody that you trust and that has your back through this whole game. And also someone that you can talk to about, you know, what you're going through personally, as far as your emotions, your feelings for the game, in the game. So that definitely kind of springboarded my feelings for her, and it was good to have in there. And again, she's just one of the most genuine girls I've ever met. So that definitely played a role into it too.
And you guys hit it off very early, but you waited till right before you were evicted to make your move, Clay. Does Clay usually wait a little longer with the ladies? Was this a national television camera kind of thing that you didn't want them to capture the romance? Did they not show us other PDA that you guys engaged in, or did you?
I think they showed all of it. You know, my first dates typically aren't, or when I'm hanging out with a girl, typically aren't aired on national television. So, and that was one thing that we kind of were in agreement with, that we didn't want, I guess, to have that be aired on television, and just kind of, you know, our background and what we believed in. And so the last week, of course, you know, was a bad week. One of us were leaving, and we just kind of said the hell with it. So if it were jury or the week, after, maybe it would have been different. But one of us was going home, one of us was going to jury. So we kind of just said, you know what, why not?
Yeah.
Now, some people, they choose to have a showman. It's like a part of their strategy. Other people, they kind of just fall into it, and then it becomes a part of their strategy. Where would you say that this fit into your gameplay?
It definitely wasn't a strategy. I came to this game saying that I need to find somebody that I can trust wholeheartedly, 100%, my kind of ride or die person in this house. And she ended up being it. She ended up being a little pretty too, and she ended up being a really genuine girl. So maybe that was the unfortunate end, not on my part, but the fact that we were grouped together really early in the game, before we even started hanging out a lot, people already automatically assumed that we were together. So, but again, I don't regret it, because she was someone in the house that I could go to in confidence and trust. Anything that I would say to her, she would not tell anybody else, and knew that she had my best interest in the game. So I had that in her. You need that in this game. And I found that being with her. So showmans, don't regret it. Didn't look for it. It just kind of happened, and it is what it is.
And there was a lot of competition for your affections. I mean, James even took you on a date for the Outback Steakhouse. But before you left, there was the time with Meg where she got a little tipsy, a little drunk, and you guys started hugging up on each other. And I know Julie asked you that question as well. I was going to say, first of all, I mean, you kind of mentioned when talking to Julie that she kind of gets around the house a little bit. And that, that's not something that they necessarily showed us, I think, in terms of the viewer. So I was going to ask, first of all, what your history with Meg was, because it seems like we didn't get the full picture. And then, talk about that exchange with Meg where you guys were kind of embracing, and, it definitely seemed like that the audience couldn't tell necessarily where you guys were with that.
Well, first off, Meg is an awesome girl. She's such a cool chick to be around, so fun and so likable in the house. And I think that's where maybe my comments got misconstrued, as far as she is likable. Everyone loves her. She's so fun. All the guys love her, love hanging out with her. And, it's kind of a running joke. I think Jeff made up the word scampering, and everybody kind of scampers around the house, to go scheme and to be deceiving. And that's where the whole scamper word came from. And she just hits it off with all the guys in the house. Nothing trashy, nothing, never meant it like that. It was kind of more of a joke in the house. I guess people didn't really understand outside. And as far as the exchange in the bathroom, when Julie mentioned that to me, that was the first time I had been made aware of the BB scandal, or even thought about it. We were friends on day one. There's been no emotional feelings between us on my end. She's an awesome girl. I expect to go visit her in New York, strictly as a friend. And
hey, well, we know what her plans are.
She wants to get you drunk. She wants to get you drunk in New York. She said, "Be careful, buddy."
Maybe I'm a little naive, but
you.
Yeah, she may have been a little tipsy in the bathroom, but I don't think her intentions were ill-willed. Mine weren't either. Hey, when what happens when you get a little tipsy, and it was just kind of an emotional moment. And what people, I think, took from that, as far as me saying, don't let anyone know about this conversation, was me asking her to give Shelly her vote and not vote for me. And I think that's when I said, don't let anyone know about this conversation. And people took that as me saying, hey, don't let anyone know that we're over here hugging on each other. So that's where I think that whole, of course, Big Brother kind of played that up to be a little more promiscuous than it should have been.
That was actually the conversation we had on the show the other day, and that was that Big Brother will make the storyline whether you like it or not. And so, I mean, we were really interested in, was there – because a lot of times, too, Big Brother doesn't cut in storylines that don't develop. And so let's say, for example, she really did like you, and she spent all this time, trying to talk to you. If that wasn't a storyline, they wouldn't make it one. And so and there's just so much information that just doesn't make it to the show that people don't know about at all.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, and there are those people who go around from group to group to group to group that everybody loves, and like we didn't have the word scamper, but that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, that Meg's got some busy hands. All right, some busy hands.
She's very active with her hands. So.
She is for sure.
So now we're going to switch gears a little bit. What was your strategy going into the game?
Going into the game was just really be myself and being able to adapt to all these different personalities and not create a target right away. And also, I know it's kind of been a running joke with this season, all the alliances that are formed, not jump into something really fast. I don't know if y'all saw or they showed it that James came to me on day one and offered pretty much a final 2 deal with me. And I told him, hey, look, I respect you. I think you're a great guy, but I'm not ready to commit to that. We'll see where this goes. And I just wanted to sit back and read everybody. And like I said, find that one person that I can trust wholeheartedly and kind of ride with them. And then play my game more of a social game to where I didn't create too many targets and I can get by week to week, hopefully win some competitions, which that didn't really play out too well. But I think just a social game was the biggest thing that I was concerned about, and not making false promises where I couldn't uphold my end of the deal.
Now, if you had one do-over, Clay, one strategic gameplay do-over, like a lot of people say, I would have done it the way I played it's the way I would have played it. If you had to do one thing over in that house, what would it be?
Send Austin back home and keep Jason. 100%.
Wow.
I think that was the downhill spiral to my demise and to me and Shelly being on the block, because we did kind of betray James and Meg and them, and they really trusted us. We played the middle a little bit too long, sending Jason home. They felt really betrayed, as they should have. We should have just kept with the plan to send Austin home, and I think the game would have been a lot different.
Who was the one, because the viewers saw basically Austin going to you and Shelly and essentially pleading for his big brother life. It seemed like it was more Shelly that made that decision to keep him in the house. Is that true, or was it really a mutual decision, or was it more you? Who kind of ultimately was the one that started that pendulum swinging back to get James out rather than Austin?
Well, it was Vanessa's idea, and we went along with Vanessa. We support her. She was in our alliance. We did trust her, so we did support her. So we are, I would say, equally to blame as far as Jason going home, because we kind of were the swing votes. Between Shelly and myself, who was more supportive, every decision that we made, we brought to each other, and we made almost a group decision on it. And we talked about it. He did pull on our heartstrings a little bit, as far as he didn't want to be separated from Liz before jury, and us being a showmance and a couple in the house, we kind of sympathized for him, and we related to him as far as we didn't want to be in that same position. Unfortunately, we were in that exact same position, and instead of Austin going home that week, it was me going home the next week. So I think we were equally supportive of it. We talked about it a lot, and we agreed to it. So we're equally enough to blame for it.
Yeah, talk a little about that showmance. What was because it seemed like at first Austin was very persistent and Liz wasn't really about it. Now it seems like maybe he's warmed her down, I guess. But talk a little bit about, from your perspective, that showmance.
Austin's a funny guy. No matter what people say, he's different. He's a character, but he's a funny guy. And he's also fun to be around, fun to hang around. Initially, I don't know if Liz saw that. However, the more you spend with him, the more you like the guy. And, of course, being in a house with only 16 people, now it's 8 or 9 now, that's a big difference too, because all you really have is each other. All you really have to talk to is each other. And like I said, the more you hang around the guy, the more you start to like him, the more he gets on your good side. Would they be together outside of the house if it wasn't for the show? I don't know, but this show definitely brought them together. They kind of were like me and Shelly as far as they trust each other. They talk about everything. She can confide in him and vice versa. So I think that really helped out as far as their feelings and their relationship growing strong.
Yeah, I mean, the show is such a unique thing in general that sharing that experience is like that'll bring anyone closer together than anyone else on the planet, really. Yeah. I mean, it's so different. I mean, that you're locked in. It's like It's just it's such a different experience.
Yeah, just talking about the show has brought Nick and I closer. I can only imagine being on the show what it does for people.
I mean, Nick could probably relate with him and Gina Marie, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So now we're moving on to another thing. So we do this every week when we interview players, and it's called Turbo Round. And so what we do is we ask you one question. We throw a word out there. It's a phrase or a question. And then you just immediately fire back at us what you think. What's the actual, what comes to your mind first?
All right.
Okay, here we go. Who's the most likable?
Meg.
Who is the least likable?
I would say Davon.
Which house guest has the weirdest habit?
Weirdest habit. I think Austin twirling his beer pony. It's pretty weird.
I don't even know if I know what that means. Trolling his beard pony?
Twirling. He just twirls.
Oh. I thought he said trolling his beard pony.
Twirling.
Wow. Create some stuff in that. Outside of the house, Clay, which house guest would you most likely be roommates with? Not including Shelly.
Yeah. Johnny Mack or James.
Talk a little bit about Johnny Mack, because I know we had Audrey on the show, and she kind of said that he was a chameleon. She couldn't really figure him out. He's kind of the popular fan house guest right now. Talk a little bit about who Johnny Mack is. People have said that, even they showed an interview with his dental office, and they said, wow, he's a totally different person inside the house than he is outside. So talk a little about him.
I think you can kind of see the two different personalities when you talk to him about game and on a serious level. You can see his seriousness and see the different Johnny Mack versus him and his DRs and him just talking out loud and laughing. And you can kind of see the two different personalities looking back at it now. I think he's playing a good game. His people that he is kind of aligned with are, leaving one by one, which is hurting him. But he's done a good job kind of laying low, winning when he needs to win. He gained a lot of respect in the beginning of the season because he was put up a lot as a pawn, and he won when he needed to win. And people will come to him and say, even Shelly and myself will come and say, hey, we need to use you as a pawn. And he would agree to it. And that gained a lot of respect from me. And that's where me wanting to play with him kind of started because anyone that goes up on the block and risks their game for you, I respect that, and that's who I want to align myself with. So
he went up 4 times, didn't he?
He did. He went 4. He played all the competitions up until that 5th week. So he definitely he was a competition expert up until that point.
Who's the most trustworthy player?
I mean, besides Shelly. For my game at least.
Sure.
I think
who's the most annoying player?
Oh, annoying. Probably the twins.
Oh,
really? Tell us
There
why about that. That's an interesting answer.
I know, if I had to break it down, it would be a good annoying. They're so funny, but just they're like 2 little teenage girls around the house. They just kind of not immature. They're just funny, but they can kind of get on your nerves a little bit. But they're fun to hang around with and to kind of be around in the house. So,
who's the least trustworthy house guest?
Vanessa.
Oh,
talk a little bit about Vanessa. I mean, she was part of your Sixth Sense Alliance. It sounds like there's some bitter feelings here after the show.
Not on my end. I don't think there's any bitter feelings. Again, for someone to come, and this is Big Brother, so you can't really hold it against anyone, but for someone to come and really preach that they have your back and they're loyal to you, and while we're doing the same thing, fighting for her, and to know that she went behind our backs to kind of throw us under the bus and really put her own agenda out there before ours, which is expected, but you can still I just think she was really sincere to her alliance with us, but she really thought that she was, which is kind of weird to me because she swears that she was 100% loyal to Shelly. And when you go back and watch clips, it's like when we were on the block, she didn't care who went home. She was fighting for the other one to go home the next week. And it was kind of like, she really did want us to be with Audrey. So at the end of the day, I don't think she was the best choice as far as for us to align with.
Yeah, I think the public, watching Big Brother is seeing that now. I mean, there's a lot that she's cut in a lot, kind of as being this like schemer, kind of a really good gamer. I mean, she's playing the game very much like a house guest on Big Brother. You know what I mean? Like, she's telling you one thing, doing another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and James went after you guys hard, Clay, trying to split up you and Shelly. How are your feelings about James?
Again, no hard feelings. Before I left the house, I went up to him and said, look, everything is water under the bridge, no hard feelings, and he agreed. And I expect us to be friends outside of the house. I fully blame myself for Jason going home and him kind of being or feeling betrayed with that. So I can't hold anything against him. It's understandable that he did what he did. It was a big power move and to add to his resume. So again, we knew it was going to happen eventually, and he was the one that did it.
Now, Clay, have you given any thoughts to what you're going to call your groupies? I mean, you've got Clay Aiken, who has the Claymates. Any thought to a catchy name for your groupies now, Clay? I'm sure that you've got people that are lining up.
Any name for what do y'all think? Do y'all have any suggestions?
Claylians.
The Claylians?
Honeybees, maybe.
Oh, the honeybees. Clay Honey.
Oh, they could be part of the honeycomb.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Join the honeycomb.
Once you join the honeycomb, it's sweet.
It's too sweet.
Whoa,
it's too sweet to resist. I like that.
You should be writing this stuff down. This is
I know, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, this is kind of like the question that people always want to know, but who is your pick to win the game?
Well, again, aside from Shelly, Johnny Mack. I think Johnny Mack should win it. I want him to win it. I love watching him, and I love playing in the house with him, playing the game with him in the house. Cut that.
Yeah. Now, how has this experience changed you, Clay? I mean, again, the obvious answer would be finding Shelly. If you want to talk a little about that, you can. Maybe give us one other thing that you about how this experience has changed you.
Of course, meeting Shelly was an awesome deal. And, I've learned that I'm not as good of a liar as I thought I was, or as deceitful as I thought I'd be. Going to this game, I thought I would be a little more ruthless than I was. And, unfortunately I wasn't, and I couldn't be. We had every opportunity when we were on the block to throw Becky under the bus. And that's what Vanessa expected us to do to save ourselves. However, Becky was the one that was helping our game out. So we just didn't feel like that was necessary. We didn't want to blow up her game when she was helping our game out. So, anyone else probably would have, done that really fast to throw under the bus. But yeah, I thought I'd be a little more ruthless. However, that wasn't the case.
So this is my last question, and I totally understand what you're saying about, you think you're going to go in there and just like, you're going to lie to everybody. It's going to be, but then you realize like, wow, I can't do that. Like, that's going to be tough, especially because when you're going against the grain, that shows your real cards like really fast. You're like, because when you lie and you're lying, then it shows, and then you're like, can't do that anymore. I'm going to have to like talk my way around it.
Exactly.
So yeah. But this is my last question for you. So now that you've done Big Brother, what are you going to do next because you've done this show now? Like what changed? Like what direction are you going to go in the future now that you've done this that you maybe didn't think you were going to do before?
Yeah. Well, again, I'll finish up grad school this next year, and honestly, I'm really open to whatever comes my way. Any opportunities that find me, I'm very open-minded about it. And honestly, if Amazing Race reached out and contacted me, I think that would be an awesome deal. So, Amazing Race, if you're watching or you do watch this, I'm putting in a good word for myself. But I'm just open-minded. I'm young. I'm excited about having the opportunity to be on Big Brother, this awesome show, and I'm just ready for whatever comes my way, ready to go with it.
Yeah, my last question for you, Clay, would be people have seen you the entire summer on Big Brother, but what's something maybe the viewers who have watched you all season would not know about you?
Ooh. Would not know about me. I mean, yeah, after watching 24/7.
They know everything. Maybe
Yeah.
they know everything. Maybe what you see is what you get with Clay. Then
No, that's kind of what it is. What you see is what you get. 24/7 access to me. That's who I am. That's how I am inside the house. That's who I am outside the house as I was inside the house. So I don't think there was anything else to hide.
I know one thing that I didn't get from the show. What position did you play on Texas A&M?
I played safety, defensive back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it was awesome to have
Yes.
you on here, Clay. Great to watch you here this summer. Really fun player, and it was a super classy move to essentially evict yourself for Shelly. And I think right here you've got two people that want to join the Honeycomb. So after you set that up, you're going to have your first two people.
We're fan number 1 and number 2
Exactly.
over here. Well, maybe we can split the number 1 fan together.
Yeah. 1 and 1A, Clay.
One
We'll
and 1A.
Yeah.
There we go. No, man, I appreciate everything. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. If you ever want me back, just let me know. I'm more than happy to be back. And
where can people find you on Twitter? What's your handle?
Twitter handle is C_honey25, HONEY25. And then Instagram is CH_BB17.
Awesome.
Great.
Might need to change that to honeycomb. Honeycomb.
You might have to, yeah.
We'll set one up for you. Don't worry.
Perfect.
We already got it.
All
Awesome.
right.
Thank you so much, man.
Clay, thanks, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
If you like this video, click here to subscribe. New videos every week.